Literally backward.
It is a complete inversion of how we're taught to operate. We're diving into Parallel Universes of Self by Frederick Dodson. And you're right, if you approach this with a standard, hustle culture mindset, it's going to sound almost offensive.
But the central premise is what hooked me, even with the skepticism. It's this idea that most of us live in an if-then trap.
Right.
If I get the promotion, then I'll feel successful. Or if I lose the weight, then I'll feel confident. We treat our own well-being like it's a prize at the end of some long obstacle course.
Exactly. We hold our own happiness hostage. We basically tell the universe, look, I refuse to feel good until you rearrange all the furniture in my life exactly how I like it.
Yeah.
And Dodson's whole point is that this is a fundamental misunderstanding of physics, metaphysical physics anyway. He says well-being is the starting point. It's not the goal.
And he uses this metaphor of the mirror, which I think is probably the best place to start. He says, a mirror will not smile before you smile.
It sounds like something you'd see on, an Instagram quote card, but he means it quite literally in the context of the law of correspondence.
Okay.
Think about a physical mirror. If you stand in front of it frowning, you can wait 10 years for that reflection to smile back at you. You can yell at it, you can bargain with it, you can work really hard to polish the glass, but until you smile,
the reflection can't change.
It can't.
So in this analogy, my reality, my bank account, my relationships, my job, that's all just the glass. It's neutral.
It's feedback. That's it. It has no agenda. It just reflects your dominant vibration, your identity back to you. So if you're walking around vibrating with, say, I want money, the mirror just reflects wanting.
It gives you more situations that make you want money.
Yes. It validates your identity as a person who lacks.
That is the part that just makes my head hurt. Because if I'm saying I want to be wealthy, I'm also, by definition, stating I am not wealthy right now.
Yeah.
I'm just reinforcing the lack.
Precisely. You're identifying as the seeker, so the universe just keeps giving you things to seek. You never get to be the finder. To change the reflection, you have to change the image first.
You have to embody the person who already has it before it even shows up.
You got it.
Okay, but this is where I usually push back on these ideas.
Yeah.
Because that just sounds like fake it till you make it. Feels like delusion. If I'm broke and I sit here smiling saying I'm rich, isn't that just lying to myself?
And Dodson actually addresses that head on. He apparently hates the phrase fake it till you make it.
Really?
Yeah. He says acting as if implies separation. If you're acting like you're wealthy, you're admitting you aren't. It's a performance. Dodson isn't asking for a performance. He's asking for a shift in your location.
Location, what do you mean?
This brings us right to the title of the book, Parallel Universes of Self. This is the core mechanic. He asks us to visualize life not as a single road from birth to death, but as this massive superhighway system with infinite lanes.
Highways of the soul.
Right. Imagine thousands of these highways all running side by side. On the lane you're in right now, maybe you're stressed and overworked, but right next to you, just a dash line away, is a version of you that made a different choice 3 years ago.
So in that lane, I started the business. In another, I moved to Bali.
Exactly. In another, you're single. In another, you're married. All of them.
And he's not just saying these are imaginary what ifs, is he? He's arguing they're actually real.
He argues that in the realm of what he calls the infinite self or the oversoul, all these versions exist at the same time. They're all broadcasting right now. But your world self, your conscious focus, is only tuned in to one station.
So reality creation isn't about building a new road. I don't have to, pave the asphalt to get to the wealthy version of me.
No, the road is already there. The traffic is already moving. You just have to change lanes. You have to shift your consciousness from the highway of struggle to the highway of ease.
I love that image because it really takes the labor out of it. But it brings up the big question, how do we steer? Because in my experience, when I try to change my life, I just end up pressing the gas pedal harder on the road I'm already on.
Right. You work harder, you stress more.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why most people stay stuck.
Yeah.
They're trying to change lanes using the wrong controls. This is where Dodson's 5 levels of reality creation comes in. This whole hierarchy is crucial if you want to understand why working harder just doesn't work most of the time.
Let's walk through them because I think everyone listening is going to recognize themselves stuck at the bottom level.
So picture a house. Level 1, the bottom level, is action and behavior.
The bricks and mortar.
Right. This is where 90% of us spend our energy. I don't like my body, so I'm going to force myself to run 10 miles. I don't like my bank account, so I'm going to work 80 hours a week.
That's the grind. That's what we're taught is the only way to change things.
And action is important, don't get me wrong, but Dodson says it's the result, not the cause. It's the very last link in the chain.
Okay.
Above that, level 2 is emotions and feelings. These are the builders of the house. Now, if your builders are depressed, anxious, or fearful, they're going to build a pretty shoddy house.
It doesn't matter how hard you whip them, which is the action part.
Exactly. If the builders are vibrating with fear, the end result will always be messy.
So if I'm taking massive action to save my business, but I'm doing it out of this terror that I'm going to go bankrupt, the action itself is sort of painted.
Totally. You are literally building more fearful reality. The action just reinforces the state of panic. But who tells the builders what to do?
The next level up.
Level 3, beliefs and thoughts. This is the blueprint. If your blueprint says money is hard to earn, then the builders, your emotions, will feel heavy and anxious. And your action, the house, will be a struggle. You just can't build a mansion with a blueprint for a shack.
That makes sense. You can't fix a bad blueprint by just moving the bricks around.
Right. But where does the blueprint come from? You go up again. Level 4 is your reality models, your core worldview. But the real boss, the CEO, is level 5, identity. The archetype.
Identity, the I am.
This is the master control. I am a smoker versus I am a non-smoker. Dodson uses the smoking example because it's so clear.
Right.
If your identity is I am a smoker who is trying to quit, you are automatically in a state of conflict. You're using willpower. That's level 1 action to fight your own identity at level 5. And identity always wins eventually.
Because the smoker identity will eventually just sabotage the action. It'll find a way.
Correct. But if you shift your identity to I am a non-smoker, the conflict just vanishes. Non-smokers don't need willpower to not smoke.
They just don't smoke. It's not who they are.
The action just flows naturally from the identity.
So if we want to change lanes on this highway, we have to grab the steering wheel at level 5. We have to change who we think we are. But this brings me back to my earlier problem. How do I genuinely shift my identity from, say, I'm struggling to I am successful without that little voice in my head screaming, no, you're not?
That is the $1 million question, isn't it? And thankfully, the book provides a specific tool for this. It's called the Pure E technique. Pure stands for parallel universe reality emulation.
Okay, let's break this down, because this is the how-to that moves this from just philosophy to, actual practice.
Right. So step 1 is be still. He calls this finding the 0 point. Most of us are never still. We wake up, and what's the first thing we do?
Check the phone.
Check the phone. We immediately engage with the news, our texts, our problems. We instantly load the old highway right into our brain's RAM.
We're just resuming the save file from yesterday.
That's a great way to put it. To switch games, you have to quit the current session first. So step 1 is about stopping that old momentum. You have to sit in silence and, just for a few minutes, unknow everything. Forget your name, forget your debt, forget your history. You have to become nothing so you can become anything.
That is so much harder than it sounds.
Oh, it is. Oh. But it's essential. You can't pour fresh water into a cup that's already full of stale tea. You have to empty the cup first.
Okay, so once you're in that still neutral state, then what?
Then you move to step 2, receive and identify. And notice the word receive. He doesn't say create and he doesn't say strain.
Because the other reality, the other highway, already exists. We're just tuning in.
Exactly. This step has 3 little subparts. See, feel, and be. First, you let an image of the preferred reality come to you. You see it. Then you feel it. And this isn't just emotion, it's sensory. Feel the leather of the steering wheel in your new car. Smell the ocean air. Hear the applause.
Okay.
But the be part, this is where most people miss the mark.
This is the difference between looking at the dream and actually being in the dream.
Yes. Most of us visualize like, we're watching a movie trailer of our own life. We're the audience watching successful me up on a screen. That keeps it separate. It keeps it in the future.
It's always over there.
Dodson says you have to merge. You have to step into the screen. Look out of the eyes of that version of you. Don't look at the new house. Look at your friends from the kitchen of the new house.
That shift in perspective is so subtle, but it changes everything. Suddenly it's not, I want that. It's, this is where I am.
Exactly. It collapses the distance. And when you truly merge, you'll feel a distinct click. It stops feeling like a fantasy and it starts feeling like a memory. It feels natural.
And then comes step 3, which I think is probably the hardest for the Western mind. Rest and fulfillment.
The letting go phase. Dodson uses this pregnancy analogy and it's perfect. Once a woman is pregnant, the conception has happened. The baby is real.
Right. It's a done deal.
It hasn't been born yet. You can't see it, but she knows it's there. She doesn't run around trying to conceive again every hour. She doesn't wake up in a panic checking if the baby is still there.
She rests in the knowing.
She acts like an expectant mother. So in reality creation, once you've done the Pure RE technique and you've felt that shift, the seed is planted. The lane change has been signaled.
And if you finish your meditation and immediately check your bank account anxiously to see if money appeared,
You've just dug up the seed to see if it's growing.
you've gone right back to the identity of, I don't have it. You've switched back to the old highway.
Exactly. Resting in fulfillment means walking through your day with this quiet, secret confidence. It's not arrogance, it's just knowledge. You know the order has been placed.
But this is where reality, the ice, as Dodson calls it, gets in the way, because there's a lag time, right? I can shift my identity to wealthy, but the overdue bill is still sitting on the counter.
This is his steam versus ice analogy. Thoughts and identity are like steam. They're fast, fluid, easy to change. Physical reality is like ice. It's dense, slow, heavy. You are using the steam of your consciousness to melt and reshape the ice of your reality, but it takes time for the ice to change shape.
So when that bill shows up the next day, it's not proof that I failed.
No. Dodson calls that old mail. When you get a bill or you have an argument or hit a snag, that is just an echo of your old identity. It's the momentum of the old highway still playing out.
And the test of the reality surfer, that's his term for us,
Yeah.
is how you react to that old mail.
Right. Most of us open the bill and say, see, this stuff doesn't work. I'm still broke.
And boom, you validate the old identity. You freeze the ice right back up.
But the master says, this is just a remnant of who I used to be. It has no bearing on who I am now. They handle it neutrally. They don't let it pull their vibration down.
It really requires a level of stubbornness. You have to trust your internal data more than the external data for a while.
It does. It feels like delusion to the world self, but to the architect, it's just logistics. The blueprint has changed. The house will change. You just have to let the construction crew finish the job.
I want to touch on the movie star experiment.
Yeah.
Because I think it shows that Dodson isn't just theorizing. He really tested this.
And he did. He wanted to see just how malleable reality was. So with no acting background at all, he just decided, I am a movie star. Not I want to be, but I am.
And he started doing everything that identity would do.
Everything. He drove to studios. He got headshots. He even started writing a book about acting before he had even landed a single role.
Talk about confusing the builders. He was giving them a totally new blueprint.
And the universe just responded. He started getting callbacks. He got cast. He synchronized with that highway remarkably fast. But then, and this is the kicker, he stopped. Because he realized he didn't actually like the lifestyle. He hated waiting around on sets, the vanity, the casting calls. It was a huge lesson.
That you can use these tools to shift to any highway you want, but you better make sure it's a highway you actually want to drive on.
Exactly.
That leads perfectly into this final concept I want to cover. The Joker cards. Because sometimes we think we want something, but we're secretly blocking it. We've got one foot on the gas and one on the brake.
This is where we have to talk about the secret payoff. Dodson suggests that if you have a chronic problem, something that just will not go away, it's because you are getting some kind of benefit from it.
Which sounds insulting. If I'm broke or I'm lonely, how am I possibly benefiting from that?
It's usually subconscious. One of the Joker card questions he has you ask is, what good thing happens if this problem continues?
Okay.
So if you stay broke, maybe the good thing is that you don't have to take responsibility for managing money, or you don't have to worry about people only liking you for your wealth.
Or you get to fit in. I've noticed that complaining about how hard life is can be a major form of social bonding.
It is. It's that slave mentality bonding. If you suddenly became wildly successful and happy, you might lose your friends who only bond over misery. That's a massive secret payoff for staying stuck. Another question is, how does this serve me exactly as it is?
It strips away all the victim mentality. It forces you to admit that you're holding on to the hot coal because on some level you actually like the heat.
Yes. And once you see the payoff, I'm staying in this job I hate because it feels safe, then you can release it. You can't drop it until you admit you're the one holding it.
There's one last practical tip for the listener who's thinking, okay, I don't know exactly which highway to pick. I just know I don't like this one. Dodson talks about the secret path.
The path of least resistance. He says that at any given moment, you have a range of options. And one of those options contains a little bit more energy, a little more excitement than the others.
Could be tiny.
It could be take a walk versus watch TV, or call a friend versus scroll social media.
Following the breadcrumbs.
If you just keep following that thread of excitement, even in small ways, you're tuning your vibration to a higher frequency. And one exciting choice leads to the next. He has a great line. The road to joy is paved with joy.
You can't suffer your way to happiness.
If the process feels miserable, you're on the wrong highway.
That's the bumper sticker right there.
Yeah.
So, to bring this all home, Parallel Universes of Self is really a manual for taking 100% responsibility. It says the mirror isn't broken, it's just reflecting you.
And that's so empowering, because if you're the one creating the reflection, you're the one who can change it.
If someone wants to try this today, right now, what's the first step?
Catch your reflection. For the next 24 hours, just watch yourself reacting to the world. When something annoying happens, traffic, a rude email, catch yourself. Are you reacting as the victim? Are you reinforcing that old highway?
So just stop.
Just stop. Find that 0-point silence even for a second and ask, how would the version of me who is already happy and successful handle this? And then do that. Even if you have to fake the feeling for a moment, just step into that avatar.
Treat the annoyance as old mail. Just toss it in the recycling.
Exactly. Don't read it twice.
I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over, and it ties right back to that uncomfortable idea of the secret payoff. If you are the architect of your reality, if the mirror is truly just reflecting you, then everything you are complaining about right now is something you have, on some level, invited in. So look at your biggest problem, the one you say you hate, and ask yourself, what am I getting out of staying exactly where I am? The answer might annoy you, but it might also be the thing that sets you free.
It's the question that changes everything.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you